we're kind of way out north of Austin, it's a little bit harder for them to get to the resources, especially for our families that are in that rural communities that don't have necessarily transportation or the financial ability to get connected with that. And so I think that's a big piece of what we do in our area as school counselors, is trying to find those resources for students.
So those are some of the challenges that counselors in Leander ISD are facing when it comes to tackling mental health. And all this week, we're taking a closer look at this topic, sitting down with more school officials from across Texas, part of our Save Our Students project. And this morning, we're happy to be joined by Lake Travis ISD Superintendent Dr. Brad Lancaster. That rural community aspect was a challenge for them. So how, in your district, how are you guys going about getting that access to mental health services for students?
John, just this year, we've added a brand new position to our school district, a licensed clinical social worker. We have a director of health and social emotional learning already, and that person added this new position. This person is intended to be a crisis intervention therapist. We have counselors in every school, 8 counselors in our high school. We added an 8th counselor to our Lake Travis High School this summer as well. But this district-wide position of licensed clinical social worker is meant to be a crisis intervention person, a therapist who can work directly with students who are in true severe crisis. Our school counselors are ready and able to work with students on the more typical kinds of problems they encounter, relationships beginning or ending, breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend, parents struggling, typical kinds of things our counselors deal with.
I feel like a lot of people think that we're just hearing about this now more these days than we did decades ago. You're kind of the perfect person to ask about this. You've been doing this for nearly 4 decades. Have you seen a change in mental health among young people, or is it just that we're talking about it more and we just ignored it in years past?
I think it's a little of both. We are definitely talking about it more. When I was a student in the 60s and 70s, and when I've been an administrator for the last 35 or 6 years, we've always had counselors. But we didn't have the national dramatic incidences that we've had 40 years ago or 100 years ago of school shootings and suicides. They weren't as well known. We didn't have that kind of attention. So I think it's mostly we're talking about it more, but it's certainly a role that the districts need to take on and it'll serve our students better.
Sure, social media, all that stuff can add other pressures as well. I want to change topics to the growth that you're seeing in your district. I think generally on the surface we kind of think, okay, growth is a good thing. That, that means the district is getting bigger and stronger, but I know it also brings some logistical issues, building new schools, redrawing lines. Would there be a point where you'd be like, okay, we're big enough. We don't need to grow anymore here in Lake Travis?
Well, there's not a gate. You can't close the door, and so you don't have the luxury as a school district of saying, we're finished. We have grown 76% in the last 10 years. We're going to add 3 to 4, 5% this year. We know we will go from 11,000 students this year to, when we are finished growing, we'll be at about 22 or 3 or 4,000 students. That is 15 to 20 years away. You are limited by geography, and so you can say we're done when there's no more room to build new houses. Eanes ISD is landlocked and limited. They're finished growing. Lake Travis ISD has 30% more of our land that's empty and left to build on, so we've got a ways to go.
School finance. When we had you in here a while back before, we asked you the 3 most important things for your district, and you said school finance, school finance, school finance. Well, they did something during this past legislative session. What is your reaction to the new school finance bill and the new structure here in Texas, and do you think it's good for your district?
It has been good for Lake Travis. The biggest change for our school district has been the reduction of the amount of money we send to the state in Robin Hood or recapture payments. Last year we were sending over 50% of our locally raised tax dollars in our budget, our revenue, back to the state of Texas in form of Robin Hood payments. That has dropped dramatically. We don't know the exact amount this year, but that money is staying in our local district. We were able to give a significant raise this year because of that money staying in our district, and we're grateful for that. We also benefited from a brand new fast growth school allotment. They've never recognized fast growth school districts financially before, and that's a new benefit this year from the legislature. Very grateful for those new influx of money staying in our district and new dollars as well.
Bottom line, so far, you're happy with it.
We are happy.
All right,
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Brad Lancaster, thank you so much. Best of luck on this school year. Also want to let you guys know that our conversation is going to continue online, and all week long we're sitting down with Central Texas Superintendents. Tomorrow we're going to be speaking with Dr. Eric Wright from Hayes CISD, And our Alyssa Goard is going to ask more about how that district is focusing on students' mental health and wellness. Until then, go to KXAN's Facebook page, look for this post where you can share your questions as well. Online now, explore our digital project, Save Our Students, Solutions for Wellness and Safety. See why we're taking a closer look at this important topic. Stories from across the nation, in-depth conversations with the school workers on the front line, interactive analysis of what's happening with mental health in your children, plus community outreach and resources to get help for your family. It's all online now at SaveOurStudentsTX.com.